In the Vatican, not all secrets are kept on purpose. Some are simply lost in the shadows of history. And as we walk past the old shelves and hear our own footsteps echo softly, we begin to understand that the real mystery is not what was erased, but how easily stories can fade when one person turns away for only a moment. Far below the main halls of the Vatican lies a quieter space, one that feels almost like the inside of a dream. The air is cooler here and carries the faint sweetness of old paper. This is where the earliest echoes of Christian history once passed from voice to voice before being written down. In ancient times, long before the Vatican existed, stories about Jesus traveled not on parchment, but in memory. Imagine a group of early followers sitting around a small fire in the hills of Galilee. One tells a story of Jesus calming a storm. Another recalls a lesson about forgiveness. A third speaks of a prophecy about the end of days. None of them write anything down. They simply speak, and their words drift into the night. These early believers are not trying to shape a single image of Jesus. They are sharing what moved them most deeply. Their conflict is gentle but real. Everyone remembers something slightly different. The first twist arrives as we realize how fragile this kind of memory truly is. Voices change stories with time, even without meaning to. A detail becomes softer. A moment becomes larger. A warning turns into a parable. By the time these stories reach distant cities many years later, no one knows which version is closest to the real man who walked the dusty roads of Judea. When the early church leaders finally begin writing things down, they face a challenge no one talks about often. Which memories should they trust? Which accounts should they protect? They do not have the full picture. They only have scattered pieces carried by travelers, merchants, and wandering preachers. The conflict becomes sharper as different groups argue over their preferred portraits of Jesus. Some see him as a healer, others see him as a prophet of judgment. Still others believe he was a wise teacher of simple truths. These arguments shaped the earliest books more than any grand plan or hidden scheme. Later, the Vatican would inherit these tangled stories, not erase them. By the time the Church gathers them, the stories have already changed in small but powerful ways. As you drift through this quiet underground space, you feel something unexpected. The true mystery is not that someone erased Jesus. It is that the earliest memories were so alive, so human, and so different from one another that no single version could ever hold them all. The real Jesus shines through like a lantern in fog, warm but blurred at the edges, always just beyond reach. Far from the Vatican, in the lands where Jesus once walked, the world was filled with noise and tension. It was a land ruled by the mighty Roman Empire, where soldiers marched through crowded markets and tax collectors watched every coin that changed hands. The streets of Jerusalem were alive with murmurs of hope and fear, for the people believed they were living in a time of great change. This is the world in which Jesus lived, not a quiet one, but one shaped by conflict, expectation, and deep longing. The truth was changed, and the Vatican made sure we would never know. Beneath polished marble floors and behind locked vaults, 50 of the Church's deepest cover-ups sleep in silence, some hidden for centuries, others sealed away just decades ago. These are not stories from Scripture, but whispered secrets buried in stone, forbidden texts, erased names, and forgotten rituals. Tonight, we walk through the shadows